What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing the fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Multiverse, which of course is a fan manga set within its own timeline involving characters from both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But the overall concept of Dragon Ball Multiverse involves fighters from different quadrants and parallel worlds in which come together for this grand multiverse battle to determine which universe and team is superior than the rest. And for many years now, I've been reviewing Dragon Ball fan concepts and mangas, so today we're going to be diving further into this manga chapter to further understand the gravity and nature of Dragon Ball Multiverse. And with that, we kick it off with Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 14, which pretty much summarizes the inception of Bra, and we get to see how Bulma and Vegito have a kid, and through that we see how they're trying to decide for a name. And this manga chapter pretty much summarizes Bra's upbringing in trying to balance out her life alongside Goten and Trunks at the time, with Vegito having to switch back and forth between costumes, in one instance having to dress up as Goku to cater to Goten, while the other he had to dress up as Vegeta to go cater to Trunks. So this manga chapter pretty much summarizes Vegito during his time at universe number 16 in trying to pretty much raise his children and get stronger and pretty much build his legacy in that universe as being the pinnacle and strongest living person to ever exist. But even in that respect, we get to see how Vegito is also struggling to live a normal life and catering to everyone he possibly can and trying to be a father to the kids, but also teaching Bra the ways of how to become a true warrior, which again is very essential to Vegito's character because we also get to see how Goten, Gohan, Piccolo, everyone within the family gets to have an interaction with him, and it's very awkward in a way to have Vegito be the authority figure, as we also get to see how Vegito tries to teach Bra a valuable lesson, just as we saw in the actual tournament how Bra's demeanor is. She gets it mainly based off of Vegito. And with that, we move into Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 15, exactly where we left off, where we have Mary Sue having to battle Arale, with Mary Sue having to say, "I must win, the Dragon Balls are my only hope, let the goddesses help me for this fight." And we see how Arale one punches Mary Sue into the sky as she comes tumbling down. And what's funny about this is the fact that Arale celebrates, and we see how Vegeta is in the background saying, "Bitch, how could you hit that innocent girl?" And it says, Mary Sue was unconscious for 30 seconds. Arale from universe number 2 wins. And we see how even Oob says, "Wow, like that was really weird," with the other female fighters having to say, "That girl had a really unusual success, and I know what I'm talking about," with the other one having to reply by saying, "That really wasn't natural." And we even see one of the birdies saying, "Well, next up, the next fight will be opposed from Gotenks from universe number 16 versus Gotenks from universe number 18. So now we're gonna have Gotenks versus Gotenks. Two different versions of Gotenks having to collide, and Trunks says, "But that's a huge waste of charisma." And then we see how the tournament holders are saying, "Please step into the ring," with Bra having to say, "Good idea, let's get rid of this moron as soon as possible," having to talk to her brother. And even then we see how the birdie's saying, "So, well, where are they? Like, what are we waiting for?" And we see how both teams actually assemble as we see the greatest warrior of all the universes emerge, the idol to all the girls regardless of their home planets, Gotenks. And we see Gotenks the Magnificent appear, and he's staring right at himself. Now, first of all, imagine this. Imagine seeing two different versions of a young adult Gotenks having to battle himself. That right there is just awesome in and of itself. And we get to see how Bra says, "That's it, I'm gonna eliminate both of them right now." And we see how Pan is saying, "Go Gotenks," with Bra having to say, "Wait, which one?" And then we finally see how both versions of Gotenks begin to hit each other. And it's actually kind of weird because they both exchange punches and they both punch each other in the face. And just as they throw kicks, they throw the exact same kicks. So it's really weird because whatever one does, the other one does as well, with Gotenks, both of them having to say, "I'm gonna surprise him by transforming right now," in which one variation of Gotenks transforms and says, "This is the end for you, pale copy," in transforming into a Super Saiyan 3, while the other one transforms into a Super Saiyan 3 as well, saying the exact same thing. And then he says, "This is impossible," and now they're beginning to fight as Super Saiyan 3 fusions. And Goku says, "Amazing, they do the exact same thing each time." And Vegeta says, "That's pathetic, that's just what it is, their power is gigantic and they don't even deserve it one bit." And Goku even to say, "Well, it's true without training they still raise a lot of their power, but it's due to their adult body. And that's when Goku says fusion makes an incredible warrior of both of them, and seeing them both having to collide, and then all of a sudden, just as they're about to collide punches, they power back down into their base forms, with Gotenks having to say, what? So soon? And that's when Vegito says, that's the hard truth of level 3, kids. It takes all of your power quickly and changes the time markers. And now that you're adults and even more powerful, it's even worse. And that's when Vegito says, the more powerful you are, the less Super Saiyan actually holds out, with the birdies having to say, don't you hate that? Their head fighters are always changing colors. Not more than the last fight, of course, but then we see how Gotenks says, well, in the end between us, there makes no difference, and both of them having to defuse. And all of a sudden, we see how Vegito says, well, yeah, fusion time gets shorter too with level 3, with Bra having to say, aha, these morons will be eliminated for cheating. And that's when the birdie's like, incredible, because now we have 4 fighters onto the team. And that's when the birdie says, incredible, the 2 fighters split into 2 bodies each. And that's when Bra says, what? They aren't eliminated? And that's when Vegito says, well, only 1 person came onto the ring, and they are following the rules, even if there are 2 now. And that's when the birdies say, it's weird, 2 resulting bodies are so different, aren't they? With the other birdie having to say, bah, they look all the same to me. And with that, the match resumes with Goten and Trunks versus Goten and Trunks, and it says, after 84,875 identical strikes, as the fight seemed to never get to an end, each individual pair actually lands the exact same identical shot, as Trunks fights Trunks and Goten fights Goten, and it seems like whatever it is they're doing, they do the exact same thing. And we see how one of the Trunks says, I have the advantage, while the other one rushes in saying, aha, it's 2-on-1 now. And that's when the other Trunks says, wait, which one of you is me? Because now nobody knows like which Gotenks is on which side, with one Gotenks having to say, bah, whatever, tell your universe it wins, I'm fed up with this, with the other Trunks having to say, but I'm the 18, and which is getting all too confusing even for the birdies, because the birdies say it's Gotenks of universe number 18 who wins the match. He's still not getting back to 1. Next match was Romesco of universe number 10 against Neko Majin of universe number 2, so again a forfeit, with one of them having to say, where are you going, with the other like rabbit-like character having to say, I have to fight, I was called. You don't need to, your opponent has declared a forfeit. And then this little rabbit-like character says, I won't flee even against a forfeit, with his partner having to say, that's the point, you don't have to fight. And then at that point we see how the tournament holder says the next fight is with Axulum from universe number 19 versus Buu from universe number 4, with the other challenger from universe number 19 having to say, well, it's time to show them. And we see how Oob says, what? You didn't all forfeit? With one of them having to say, hey you, don't toy with us if you show off. And that's when Oob says, wait, I'm sorry for your friend, I got carried away. And keep in mind, this is the same teammate that Oob sliced his entire body and killed him with. So that's when Oob says, he still cut my arm off, mind you, so I had to do what I had to do. Didn't you see the power of the others? Your armors are cool, but it won't survive, it won't protect you. And that's when the other guy says, our armors? You don't understand anything. You never even saw our real equipment. In fact, you don't even notice that we've changed armors either, did you? With one of them having to say, we didn't think we need our war armors for a mere tournament. But when it turned out the way it did, with the power level having to be superior than ours, we asked for the authorization to use our ultra equipment. Varga sent the message to the hierarchy, and that's when Goku says, wait, are those like the frost demons? With Vegeta having to say, Frieza, Cooler, and Cold, the last representatives of the species that are the frost demons. And that's when the other team member from universe number 19 says, the geezers are always slow to decide, but now it's good, we'll be able to fight for real. So it looks like these dudes have upgraded their armors, and it doesn't even look like anyone else is concerned considering how strong everyone else is. So we pan back to the ring as Majin Buu says, sorry, I was listening to that fascinating conversation down there, but you can attack, you know, the fight has already begun, with the competitor having to slice Majin Buu in several different pieces, and we see how Majin Buu pulls himself back together and saying, yeah. And that's when the contender says, that's what I thought, you do have the same powers as the other Buu. And that's when the birdie says, he cut right through him with the spike, 100% of his energy just went right through the shield. If he shoots it again into the people, they will be cut and killed. And that's when the other competitor says, and that's when he shoots, and Majin Buu catches one of the blasts and saying, "You're such a cute one. What's your little name again?" And we see how he flies away and the blast just completely erupts, engulfing Majin Buu, with Piccolo having to say, "An expert can see that this attack is very concentrated. A Super Saiyan 2 wouldn't even be able to survive. These warriors didn't lie. Their armor is way more powerful," with the contender having to say, "It's called farewell, Buu. I'm sorry I've destroyed you entirely and killed you, but it seems like there was no other solution." And then out of the blue, we see how Majin Buu reforms and saying, "You've convinced me. Your armor is cool. Give it to me." And that's when, like, Majin Buu is just trying to go on ahead and demand for this guy to give over his armor, in which at first he refuses and saying, "Oh, I see, you try to take my armor from me. In that case, I'm not gonna let you do it." And that's when Buu says, "Well, in that case," so he begins to charge right at this guy, and oddly enough, we see how Buu just completely opens himself up and swallows this person whole, similar to an absorption, but we see how Gohan says he's going to absorb him, with Goten having to say, "Wait, is that even allowed?" And then we see a head appear, and then an arm, and then a body. And it looks like this guy's armor is completely gone. Majin Buu managed to steal his armor effortlessly, and that's when Buu says, "I'm keeping the armor. I'll study it peacefully." And he kicks the guy in the face, and that is the end of the battle. And it says, "Winner from universe number 4, Majin Buu," with the other teammates of this person having to say, "Damn it, the movement we used was Ultra and it got stolen. We have to get it back from Majin Buu." And it looks like Majin Buu doesn't even want to give it back, because everyone is talking about how dangerous now he's become after stealing that armor. And Majin Buu having to quietly come down and saying, "Only now, ha, you're funny." And that's when Vegeta says, "Ha, well, it looks like this armor of theirs really came in handy in allowing Buu to steal it from them." That's when Piccolo says, "They are way more powerful than you think. They weren't lucky to just be going up against Buu, that's all." And that's when Goku says, "Their weapons aren't to be underestimated because we can't regenerate just like Buu," which closes off the manga chapter. And again, I understand the idea of Majin Buu trying to absorb this guy's armor and trying to replicate that and take that for his own. The only thing I didn't like was how the entire fight went down. It could have been displayed a lot differently, but I did enjoy the Gotenks battle. Even though it was short, we got to see Gotenks versus Gotenks in their Super Saiyan 3 forms, with an explanation as to how long they were able to last in those forms. But overall, guys, comment down below, what are your overall thoughts on this manga chapter? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys hate it? What are your overall thoughts on the story development so far? And what are your overall thoughts on Majin Buu having to steal the armor? Post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you guys are fans, don't forget to subscribe for more Dragon Ball news, information, updates, and of course, manga chapter reviews. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like down below. Again, I enjoyed this manga chapter, not so much as the other chapters. I felt as if this chapter was a tad bit slow, but it also displayed Buu's ability to just steal someone's clothing, to steal someone's armor effortlessly, in which I do think was a great strategy in Buu having to utilize that in stealing their ultra armor. But post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching once again. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great day, guys. Peace.